Hello students, today's topic is post-fertilization structure and events. Second chapter. So let's start. Before studying post-fertilization structure and events, let's have a look at double fertilization. In double fertilization, one male gamete fuse with the polar nuclei to form primary endosperm nucleus, and another male gamete fuse with the egg cell to form zygote. This primary endosperm nucleus get developed into the endosperm and zygote get developed into the embryo. So let's have a look at post-fertilization events. Post-fertilization events. These events includes development of primary endosperm cell into endosperm, development of zygote into embryo, development of ovule into seed, and development of ovary into fruits. So we will study all these four events one by one in detail. Look this diagram. Here this is the endosperm. This endosperm get this is primary endosperm nucleus, which is diploid. It get developed into the endosperm. This black color denote the endosperm, and this is the zygote. Purple color denote the embryo. This zygote get developed into the embryo. Development of ovule into seed. This is the ovule. This ovule get developed into the seed. You have to relate these color. Here in the seed, image 3, this black color denoted by the endosperm, purple color denoting the embryo, and this green color denote the ovule, which is get converted into the seed. And this structure is present inside the ovary, which later on develop into the fruits. First is the development of endosperm. So endosperm development, there is a question. Endosperm development precede the embryo development. Why? Precede means the event which take place earlier. So endosperm development takes place earlier than the development of embryo. Why? Because endosperm is needed for nourishing the growing embryo, hence it developed before the embryo. This is the embryo. For the growth of this embryo, some nutrients are required, and these nutrients are supplemented by the growing endosperm. Primary endosperm cell divide repeatedly and form a triploid endosperm. This is the primary endosperm nucleus. This divide repeatedly and form a triploid endosperm. This is the triploid endosperm. So now we will look the development of endosperm. What are the events that are involved in endosperm development? First is, we will start with primary endosperm nucleus. This primary endosperm nucleus undergo repetitive free nuclear division. What is this free nuclear division? Here only nuclei will divide and cell wall will not be formed. So after free nuclear division, cell wall formation takes place around these nuclei. Let's have a look here. This primary endosperm nucleus, this get divide repeatedly and form. This is the free nuclear division. Here, see here, no cell wall is, but after free nuclear division, cell wall formation start. See here, around these cells, cell wall start forming, and it will form later on cellular endosperm. So we will start with primary endosperm nucleus. It undergo free nuclear division. After free nuclear division, cell wall formation takes place and it form later on cellular endosperm. Endosperm in coconut. Coconut contains two types of endosperm. One is free nuclear endosperm, another is cellular endosperm. So the water we see in coconut, that is the free nuclear endosperm, and that white kernel which is present around this water is the cellular endosperm. See here, this white flesh is cellular endosperm, and this coconut milk, it is the liquid endosperm. Fate of endosperm. We know that endosperm is required for the growth of developing embryo. This endosperm may either be consumed during the growth of embryo or it may remain in the seed. There is one case in which endosperm completely consumed by the developing embryo before seed maturation. When the seed mature, during the development of embryo, this endosperm is completely consumed. Example is pea, groundnut and beans. See here, endosperm is not present in the seed. Another case is that, this is the second case, endosperm persists in the mature seed. This is the endosperm. See here, it is a castor seed, and in the castor seed, endosperm is present. It persists in the mature seed and not used during the seed germination. This endosperm is not used during the germination of seed. So moving to next slide. One was the development of endosperm, and the second event is development of embryo. Embryo develop at the micropylar end of the embryo sac where zygote is situated. See here, this is the zygote and this is the micropylar end. This is chalazal end. So growth of embryo takes place at the micropylar end where zygote is situated. Here zygote is situated and this is the micropylar end. These are sequence of events. Here growth of embryo takes place. Most zygote divide only after certain amount of endosperm is formed. This is an adaptation to provide assured nutrition to the developing embryo. This we have already covered. So you have to keep in mind that embryo develop towards the micropylar end of the embryo sac where zygote is situated. So this is the important point. Moving to next slide. Embryogeny, it is the development of embryo. What is embryogeny? Development of embryo. Early stage of embryo development are both similar in monocote and dicot. Monocote contains one cotyledon and dicot contain two cotyledon. And earlier stage, see here from A to D, these are the earliest stage of embryo development. You can compare both these development stages in monocote and dicot. These earlier stages are similar in both monocote and dicot, but later on these embryo are totally different. Moving to next slide. Now we will see development of embryo in dicot and development of embryo in monocote. First of all, we will have look at development of embryo in dicot. So dicot embryo development, we will start with the zygote because we know that zygote get later on develop into the embryo. So we are going to start with this zygote. Where zygote is present? Here. Zygote will first of all form proembryo. This is the proembryo. Then globular embryo here, and the terminal globular structure is present. That's why this is the globular embryo. Then later on it form heart shape. The structure similar to the heart. So it is heart shaped embryo. Later on it form mature embryo. We are to remember the stages from zygote to formation of mature embryo. These are intermediate stages. You have to remember, first zygote form proembryo, then it form globular embryo, then heart shape embryo, and finally it form mature embryo. Typical dicot embryo. Let's have a look at structure of typical dicot embryo. Typical dicot embryo consists of embryonal axis and two cotyledons. So these two are cotyledon and the structure is the embryonal axis. Keep in mind, this is the point of attachment of cotyledon This is the point of attachment of cotyledons, and this portion of embryonal axis above the point of attachment of cotyledon is the epicotyle, and it terminates into the plumule. This structure is the plumule, and the portion of embryonal axis below the point of attachment of cotyledon is hypocotyle, and this hypocotyle terminate into the root tip, and this root tip is covered by the root cap. See here. Now, structure of typical monocote embryo. Typical monocote embryo possesses only one cotyledon. Mono means one, cote means cotyledon. So typical monocote embryo possesses only one cotyledon, and this name of one cotyledon is scutellum. See here, this is the scutellum, and this scutellum is situated towards one side of the embryonal axis. This is the embryonal axis, and scutellum is situated towards one side of this embryonal axis. Below, at its lower end, embryonal axis had the radicle or root cap. Embryonal axis at its lower end, this is the lower end. Embryonal axis at the lower end has radicle and root cap, enclosed in a undifferentiated sheath called coleorhiza. This coleorhiza, this radicle is enclosed in this coleorhiza. Portion of embryonal axis above the level of attachment of scutellum is epicotyle. This is above the level is epicotyle, and this epicotyle terminate into, this is the plumule, and the plumule is covered by the coleoptile. So radicle covered by coleorhiza and plumule covered by the coleoptile. Now third event is development of seed. Ovule get developed into the seed. Development of ovule into seed. Final, what is the seed? Seed is the final product of sexual reproduction. It is a fertilized ovule. So keep in mind, without fertilization, seed will not be formed. We will study later in parthenocarpic fruits. So what is seed? It is the fertilized ovule. It is formed inside the fruit, and typical seed consists of seed coat. Seed is covered by this seed coat. Contain two cotyledon, 1 and 2. In case of monocote, single cotyledon. In case of dicote, two cotyledon, and an embryonal axis. So typical seed consists of seed coat, cotyledon, and embryonal axis. Cotyledon of the embryo are generally thick and swollen. These cotyledons, see here, these cotyledons are thick and swollen because they contain reserve food material. Integuments of ovule harden as tough protective sheet coat. We have seen in the structure of ovule. In the ovule, center embryo sac is present, embedded in the cell of nucellus, and this nucellus is covered by the 2 or 3 integuments. These integuments later on form the tough protective sheet coats. The micropyle remain as a small pore. See here, this is the micropyle. It is a small pore through which air and oxygen and water enter into the seed during the germination. At the seed mature, its water content is reduced and seed become relatively dry. When the seed will become dry, its metabolic activity will definitely slow down, and this state of inactivity is known as dormancy. So question arises, what is the dormancy? When the seed mature, its water content is reduced, seed become dry, and its metabolic activity get reduced. This stage of inactivity of a seed is known as dormancy. and this dormancy is broken when the favorable conditions are available. If favorable conditions such as adequate moisture, oxygen and temperature are available, the seed will germinate. Next is different types of seed. One is albuminous. Another name of albuminous seed is endospermic seed. Another is non-albuminous or non-endospermic seed. See here, in albuminous seed contain endosperm. As here endosperm is not completely used up during the process of. Here in albuminous seed endosperm is present. It is not completely used up during embryo development. Example is here maize. Maize contain endosperm. Non-albuminous seed have no residual endosperm as it is completely consumed during embryo development. See here endosperm is absent. Now what is perisperm? In some seeds such as black pepper and beet, remains of nucellus are also persistent. This is the nucellus and this nucellus is present in the seed here. See, this nucellus is present. Usually nucellus is used up, but here in case of perisperm, in some seeds such as black pepper and beet, remain of nucellus are also present in the seed, mature seed. So this remain of persistent residual nucellus is the perisperm. So what is the difference between this perisperm and endosperm? Let's see. Perisperm and endosperm. Perisperm, it represent persistent remain of nucellus in the seed, and endosperm, it develop from primary endosperm nucleus. Perisperm, it is a part that belong to seed, and endosperm contain reserve food material. Perisperm is usually dry, endosperm is soft. Perisperm, example of perisperm is black pepper. Example of endosperm is coconut water. The last is the development of fruit. Here, fruit is formed from the ovary. The ovary is transformed into the fruit, and the wall of ovary develop into the wall of fruit, and these are known as pericarp. See here, this pericarp is the wall of the fruit. Fruit wall is pericarp. Fruit may be fleshy as in guava, orange and mango, peach. See here, these fruits are fleshy, and it may be dry. In case of cone, the fruit are dry. Types of fruits. Next is types of fruits. Fruits are of two types. First is false fruit and second is true fruits. As the name indicate, true fruits are those fruits which develop from the ovary, and the fruit which develop other than ovary are known as false fruit. So false fruits, usually fruits develop from the ovary. However, in a few species such as apple, strawberry and cashew, the thalamus also contribute to fruit formation. What is thalamus? Thalamus is the part of a flower from which sepal, petal, androecium and gynecium are attached. Such fruits are called as false fruits. So false fruits are those fruits which are not developing from the ovary. True fruits, this is the false fruit, apple. This fleshy part is the thalamus. Most fruits which develop only from the ovary are called true fruits. So mango is a true fruit and apple is a false fruit. Next is parthenocarpic fruit. We know that ovule get developed into the seed, and seed was a fertilized ovule. In case when the fruit develop without the process of fertilization, then seed will not be formed. So fruit which develop without fertilization are known as parthenocarpic fruit. See the difference between these two fruits. This watermelon contains seed and this watermelon doesn't contain seed. This is the parthenocarpic fruit. Here seed are absent. This parthenocarpy can be natural or it can be induced by the hormones. If it is natural, the example is banana. In case of banana, parthenocarpy is natural. And it can also see here in watermelon, this parthenocarpy is induced by the application of growth hormones. We have studied growth hormone in class 11. Here we can induce parthenocarpy by the application of various growth hormones, and these fruits will be seedless. This parthenocarpy is more common nowadays. There is a trend of developing fruits without seed. Now the last topic is the viability. What is viability? As we have viability, we have already studied in case of pollen grain. Now we are studying viability of a seed. Viability is the ability of seed to live, grow and develop after they are dispersed. When the seed are dispersed, then for how much time the seed remain viable, seed will be able to grow. So this period varies greatly. This period can be some seed may lose viability within a month, or other species seed live for several years. So this viability may be a few months or for the several years. There is one example, Lupinus arcticus. These seed were excavated. Excavated means to dig out from the soil. From the Arctic tundra, they germinated and flowered after 10,000 years of dormancy. जब इन सीड को आर्कटिक टुंड्रा से निकाला, फिर इनकी एज चेक की गई, तो ये 10,000 ईयर्स ओल्ड थे. 10,000 ईयर्स तक वो इनएक्टिव रहने के बाद, डोरमेंट रहने के बाद, जब उन सीड को ग्रो किया गया तो उनसे प्लांट ग्रो हुआ. एंड दिस कम्स इन 1 marks question, so remember. Another is Phoenix dactylifera. These seeds were viable for 2,000 years. 2,000 year old seed. These seeds were discovered near the Dead Sea, and these were viable after 2,000 years. This is then an overview of second chapter. This is a quick revision. We have started the second chapter with the flower and ended with the seed. This is the whole journey from here to here. So let's have a quick revision. From the flower, there is formation of pollen grain and embryo sac. So how these are formed? Male gametophyte and female gametophyte. These microspore mother cell, these are formed inside these anthers. So the microspore mother cell undergo successive meiotic division and form microspore tetrad. These tetrad cells are attached with one another. Later on they form microspore. These microspores germinate and form. This microspore later on develop form vegetative cell and generative cell. These microspores by the process of pollination are transferred on the stigma, and later on they form the pollen tube. This pollen tube contains 2 male gametes. Simultaneously, development of embryo sac takes place. Embryo sac development started with the megaspore mother cell. This megaspore mother cell form 4 megaspore. Out of the 4 megaspore, 1 megaspore is active and other 3 get degenerated. This megaspore then undergoes successive division and form a 7 nucleate and 8 nucleate and 7 celled embryo sac. See here, Now the fertilization of two male gamete takes place. One male gamete fuse with the egg cell to form the zygote, and another male gamete fuse with the polar nuclei to form triploid endosperm nucleus. This zygote later on develop into the embryo, and this diploid endosperm nucleus later on form the endosperm, and later on they will form a seed. After the getting favorable condition, they germinate and form the plant, and again flower will arise, and the cycle is repeated. So this was all about second chapter. One topic is remaining, apomixis and polyembryony, that we will cover in the next video. All the best.